Welcome to Chills with Chas. We're going to continue the Heartland series with the story Red Rose. Newspaper reporters are usually tough characters, not given to hysteria or belief in things supernatural. Objectively, it is the cornerstone of the profession, a world of hard information supported by physical evidence. And Marshers was just that kind of reporter. She worked for the old Chicogo American, one of William Randolph Hearst's newspapers. Before that, she was a pioneer woman, sports writer for Hearst's Boston American. Marshers was not gullible. She had met too many press agents, charlatans and phonies in her career as a newspaper woman to be taken in by fraud. That's why she was assigned to write a series of articles on Lily Dale, the famed house of the American spiritualist movement in New York State. The year was 1942. Interest in life after death, the heart of the spiritualist beliefs, was heightened by World War II. Whenever mass death occurs, particularly in times of war, newspapers and other periodicals scramble to find what belief there may be in the hereafter. What Anne Marshers found in Lily Dale would change forever her beliefs in such things as spirits and ghosts, and the proof would occur in the busy city room of a Chicogo American. Back in the mid-19th century, the Fox sisters, Margarita, Catherine, and Katie, proposed to be able to communicate with a spirit in their Hydesville, New York home. They called him Mr. Splintfoot, the spirit of a peddler who had been murdered and buried in the basement by the previous occupants of the house. The girls claimed they could communicate with him through a series of rappings. Katie, 11 years old in 1847, worked out a code for talking with her mysterious friend. Over a period of time, other manifestations of the hauntings occurred. Furniture moved unassisted across the floor, beds rocked, and doors slammed shut by themselves. And the most grisly scenario of all, the murder of the peddler, was reenacted, replete with screams, falling bodies, and sounds of corpses being dragged down the basement stairs. The eldest daughter, Catherine, decided to exploit the mysterious hauntings, and the belief in spiritualism was born. Was there ever any proof to support the claim that a murder was committed in the Hydesville house? During their lifetime, the girls were subject to a good deal of ridicule. Their claims were consistently debunked by scientists and later by magicians who said they could duplicate the mysterious sounds. Yet in 1904, the Rochester Democrat an article triumphed in a front-page story, the discovery of a body, or the bones of, at any rate, beneath the house of the Fox sisters' old home. Rain had weakened one of the basement's stone walls. Sections of the granite had fallen away, revealing a false wall. In the space between the fake wall and the original foundation, a human skeleton was found. It may have been that of the murdered peddler. The girls' followers were not shaken when it was revealed that many of the so-called wrappings have been caused by their cracking the joints in their big toes. The reenactment of the peddler's death and some of the wrappings are still unexplained, the devoted maintained. The Fox sisters' Hydesville home was eventually moved to Lilydale, a town situated in north-central Chautauqua County, near Lake Erie, southwest of Buffalo. During the winter, the village's population numbered fewer than 300 people, but as many as 2,000 persons came each summer to study spiritualism at Lilydale, the mecca of the spiritualist movement. So it was that in the summer of 1942, Anne Marsters, was given the opportunity to investigate Lilydale, then at its zenith as a spiritual center. Her assignment was to investigate Ralph Pressing, the editor of the spiritualist newspaper, Psych Observer, and to sit in on some seances. Sorry, it's kind of hard to adjust. Could the spiritualists in Lilydale really communicate with the dead? Anne Marsters, editors back in Chicago, said the world awaited her answer. As a good reporter, Marsters went to Lilydale with an open mind, not to write an expose, but to give an honest account of what I saw and heard. And I took along a staff photographer to take a pictorial record of any evidence, she later acclaimed. What Master saw was a mixture of obvious shame and truly puzzling occurrences. She visited various seances, all conducted as experiments in spiritual communication, yet transacted in darkened rooms which made explanations for hidden gadgets extremely difficult. For table wrappings to trumpets floating through the air, emitting embodied voices to manifestations of ghosts, the reporter witnessed many strange events. She dismissed some of them outright, but others raised questions in her mind. Could any of the communications be genuine? In some of the sessions, Marston was addressed by voice from various deceased loved ones. She doubted if the voices were from the dead, and certainly not from her relatives. But then Anne Marsters met Red Rose, an Indian spirit. The two became acquainted during a seance led by Ann Taylor, one of the better-known mediums at Lilydale. Red Rose was Marsters' spirit guide, a kind of helper from beyond, assigned to assist Anne in contacting other spirits so they too might communicate with the living. In a mixture of pidgin English and contemporary slang, Red Rose talked to the audience. At one particular session, Red Rose suddenly told Marster, "You put a safety pin in the lining of your coat. Lazy." Marsters was flabbergasted. She had found a tear in her coat a few minutes before leaving her hotel room for the seance and didn't have time to mend it. Instead, she temporarily fixed the split with a safety pin. No one had seen her repair the coat, except perhaps Red Rose. The experience nagged at Marcia's hardened objectivity for days to come. After she returned to Chicago a few days later, Marcia's had a series of 7 articles about Lily Dale to complete. She decided against including her own experience with Red Rose, fearing her editor would delete it. Too unbelievable. Marcia's did her writing at home. She completed her first article on a Friday, and a copy boy came to collect the original manuscript and a carbon copy. Be sure to deliver these to the Sunday editor in person, Marcia's emphasized. Her series was due to begin on Sunday. A heavy advertising campaign was underway to promote her findings about life after death. On Saturday, her editor phoned. She was late with her copy to the Sunday. Where was the first article? He demanded. Marcia couldn't believe she had heard him correctly. Surely he had received the article yesterday from the copy boy. Marcia even identified the youngster by name. No, her editor said, he hadn't seen the story. The editor interrogated the boy, short of giving him the 3rd degree. The distraught youngster clearly remembered collecting the copy from the reporter, but had absolutely no knowledge of what he did with it afterwards. Nothing succeeded in jogging his memory. The editor phoned back. Marcia's would have to rewrite the story, she wailed in rebuff. There was no way she could remember the story line for line, and besides, there was hardly time to finish the piece for Sunday. The deadline was only a few hours away. Marcia decided instead to go to the newsroom herself in the belief she could determine what had happened to the manuscript. She stood at the editor's desk in a state of absolute panic. What to do? Then she remembered Red Rose. Surely if the little spirit had found a safety pin in her coat, she might be able to help the reporter find the missing manuscript. Oh, Red Rose, please try to help me, Master silently pleaded. And then, without conscious deliberation, Masters walked across the busy city room to a table next to the payphone. She opened one of the phone books. Inside was the missing manuscript. And Marcia's never could explain or remember the reason why she went to that telephone directory in the Chicago American newsroom that day. And Lily Dale remains to this day the center of American Spiritualist Church, descended upon each summer by thousands of people anxious to attend group seances, private psychic readings, and determinations of psychic healing. Perhaps somewhere within the 172-acre village there dwells a spirit of Anne Marcia's guide, Red Rose. Of all the ghosts in this chapter, only Resurrection Mary still walks Chicago streets. The rest have made brief appearances and then gone on to their permanent home, wherever that may be. There are all ordinary specters, if that is the right phrase, since they don't include among their numbers any of Chicago's more prominent departed citizens. It's not that the shades of the mighty don't linger along Michigan Avenue or Maxwell Street, only that they haven't haven't been seen yet. There is that story. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.